Welcome back to my channel. Today, we explore the value of specific coins. The most valuable silver Kennedy half-dollar coins value in market. First up, the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar, specifically the silver version without a mint mark in fine condition. If you're a coin collector or just curious about silver coins, this one is definitely worth knowing about. The Kennedy half-dollar is one of the most iconic U.S. coins, first minted in 1964. Shortly after President John F. Kennedy's tragic assassination. The coin's design quickly became popular and has remained largely unchanged over the years. But what makes the 1967 version special? And why does the silver content matter? In 1967, the U.S. Mint was in a transitional phase due to the rising price of silver. The mint stopped producing half-dollars with 90% silver after 1964. From 1965 through 1970, Kennedy half-dollars were minted with a reduced silver content, a special 40% silver composition, instead of the full 90%. The rest was mostly copper. Another interesting fact is that 1967 Kennedy half-dollars were produced without a mint mark. This means the coins were minted in Philadelphia, but the mint mark was not shown on the coin. This makes 1967 coins distinct and easier to identify. When we say a coin is in fine condition, it means the coin shows moderate wear, but the key details are still clearly visible. The coin isn't pristine or uncirculated, but it's still collectible and has good eye appeal. For silver coins like the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar, condition is a big factor in value. Now, let's talk about value. As of today, the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark in fine condition has a market value primarily driven by its silver content and collector interest. The coin contains 40% silver, which gives it a melt value roughly tied to the current silver spot price. In fine condition, the coin typically sells between $120 on the collector's market. If you find one in higher grades, like very fine or extra fine, prices can go up to $140 or more. But in circulated, fine condition, the value is usually a bit above the silver melt price, thanks to its collectible appeal. Why do collectors seek out these coins, besides the silver content? The 1967 Kennedy half-dollar represents a piece of history, the silver-clad era, and a coin that bridges the gap between the full silver 1964 issues and the clad coins that followed after 1970. So, to wrap it up, the 1967 silver Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark in fine condition is a valuable collectible that typically sells between $1,400 today. It's a great addition for anyone interested in silver, coins, or American history. Next up, the 1965 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark, and what makes it one of the most valuable silver coins from the Kennedy series, especially in extremely fine condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, this coin is definitely worth knowing about. The 1965 Kennedy half-dollar, an important coin historically because it marked a transition in U.S. coinage. After President John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963, the half-dollar was redesigned in his honor, first minted in 1964 with 90% silver. But starting in 1965, the composition changed. From 1965 through 1970. Kennedy half-dollars were minted with a 40% silver content instead of the traditional 90%. This was due to the rising price of silver and a need to conserve the metal for other uses. So the 1965 half-dollar features a clad composition with a pure silver core and copper-nickel outer layers. Now here's an interesting twist. Unlike other coins from this era, the 1965 Kennedy half-dollar was produced without any mint mark. The U.S. Mint actually removed mint marks from all coins from 1965 to 1967 to discourage coin collectors from hoarding specific mint runs. This means the 1965 half-dollars without a mint mark came from both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But neither is marked, so collectors today often refer to these coins simply as the 1965 no mint mark variety because it contains 40% silver. The 1965 Kennedy half dollar holds intrinsic value beyond its face value of 200.00. The silver content alone gives it a baseline worth tied to the current silver market price, but there's more. Condition matters. Coins that are in extremely fine condition, which means they show only slight wear on the highest points, with most of the details still sharp and clear, are much more desirable to collectors, while circulated 1965 Kennedy half dollars can often be found for their silver melt value. Coins graded EF or higher can command a premium because they are scarcer in such well-preserved condition. So, what exactly is extremely fine condition? It's a professional coin grading term meaning the coin shows light wear, especially on the higher points like Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. The rim should be intact with minimal dings or scratches, and EF coin still has most of its original luster and detail, making it highly attractive for collectors who want something above common circulation quality. As of 2025, the price of silver is fluctuating around $250 per ounce, which directly impacts the value of any silver coin. So to sum it up, the 1965 Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark is a fascinating coin with historical significance and solid silver content. In extremely fine condition, these coins can bring in 2 to 3 times their melt value, making them an excellent collectible for both new and experienced numismatists. Next up, the 1983 Kennedy half dollar, particularly focusing on its value when graded in extra fine condition, minted in 1983 at the Denver Mint. The Kennedy half dollar was part of a series honoring the 35th President of the United States. While the coin was produced in large numbers, certain conditions and grades can significantly affect its value. Coin grading is a standardized system used to assess a coin's condition. For the 1983 Kennedy half dollar, the extra fine EF40 grade indicates a coin that has been lightly circulated, with minimal wear on high points and well-defined features. As of July 2025, the market value for a 1983 Kennedy half dollar in extra fine condition is approximately $100. This valuation is based on recent sales data and reflects the coin's status as a common issue with no significant rarity factors. Several factors can influence the value of a coin, including its mint mark, condition, and any unique characteristics. For the 1983 Kennedy half dollar, the D-mint mark indicates it was produced in Denver, but without any rare errors or exceptional preservation. Its value remains modest for collectors. The 1983 Kennedy half dollar can still hold sentimental value or serve as a starting point for a collection. While its monetary worth may be limited, its historical significance and connection to a pivotal era in American history make it a worthwhile addition to any numismatic collection. While the 1983 Kennedy half dollar in extra fine condition may not command a high price on the market, its value lies in the story it tells and the legacy it represents. Remember, in the world of coin collecting, it's not always about the monetary worth, but the history and memories each coin carries. Next up, the 1970 for Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark, especially those in very fine condition. If you're holding one of these, you definitely want to stick around because we'll break down its history, rarity, and what it's worth in today's market. The Kennedy half dollar is one of the most iconic coins in American history. First minted in 1964, it was created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his assassination in 1963. The 1964 issue was the last year of 90% silver in these coins, making those very valuable today. But what about coins minted after that? Like the 1974 version, while most Kennedy halves from the mid-1970s are clad and have little silver content, some special versions of the 1970 for Kennedy half dollar without a mint mark actually contain silver, and they're sought after by collectors. Here's the key detail: 1970 for Kennedy half dollars typically do not contain silver. From 1971 to 1976, the coins were minted with a copper-nickel clad composition and didn't contain silver like the earlier 1964 versions. However, there are a few exceptions involving special mint sets or errors, especially those without a mint mark, which sometimes turn out to be silver strike coins or coins mistakenly minted in silver now. The no mint mark on a 1970 for $half means it was minted in Philadelphia because back then, Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark. Silver-proof coins from this year do exist and are highly collectible. When we talk about coin condition, very fine or VF is a grade on the Sheldon scale that describes a coin with moderate wear, but major details still clearly visible on a 1970 for Kennedy $half. This means the coin has somewhere on Kennedy's hair and cheekbones, but the overall design and lettering remain sharp. A very fine coin is a great middle ground for collectors who want quality without paying for uncirculated prices. It still holds good value, especially if it's a silver version or a rare variant. So, what is the value of a 1970 for Kennedy $half without a mint mark in very fine condition today? If you have a standard copper nickel-clad coin, its value is mostly face value, about 200.00 because these were minted in the millions. However, silver-proof versions or special silver strikes can command much higher prices. For a silver Kennedy $half from 1974 without a mint mark in very fine condition, collectors are willing to pay anywhere from $300 more depending on demand, provenance, and exact condition for the best results. Get your coin professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. This can verify silver content and condition, greatly affecting value. To wrap up, while most 1970 for Kennedy $half without mint marks are common clad coins, the silver versions in very fine condition are definitely worth checking out if you're a collector or investor. Always verify authenticity, understand grading, and keep an eye on the market because silver prices and collector demand can fluctuate. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more valuable coin guides, and drop a comment. If you have any questions or want us to cover a specific coin next, thanks for watching and happy collecting!